With new amendments to the Criminal Code of Russia, treason will now face life imprisonment. Even earlier in the summer of 2022, according to Medusa, the State Duma voted in 1 minute and 20 seconds to expand the concepts of treason and espionage. Now, this definition in the Criminal Code of Russia sounds like this.
High treason that is committed by a citizen of the Russian Federation. Espionage, insurance to a foreign state, international or foreign organization or their representatives of information, constituting a state secret entrusted to a person or become known to him through service, work, study, or in other cases provided for by the legislation of the Russian Federation. Move to the side of the enemy, provision of financial, logistical, consulting or other assistance to a foreign state, international or foreign organization or their representatives in activities directed against the security of the Russian Federation. From Article 275 of the Criminal Code of the Russian Federation.
Opposition politician Vladimir Kara-Murza was accused of treason, spreading fake news about the Russian army and collaborating with an undesirable organization. But in fact, his speeches in the United States criticizing the current Russian government were considered treason. And here, Savely Frolov posted a photo on social networks from Upper Lars with the caption, "Widely we bring down from Russia 5 kilometers to the border." After that, he ended up in a pre-trial detention center on charges of treason for going over to the side of the enemy. In 2022, at least 25 cases of treason were initiated according to the Human Rights Project, the First Department. Since the beginning of 2023, 21 cases have already been reported. In Russia, it is very easy to get accused of betraying the motherland, and it is not necessary to betray the state, human rights activists say.
The article on treason today has nothing to do with the security or criminal law protection of the state. This is an article that is used to create an atmosphere of fear and xenophobia. And if you have chosen a strategy of intimidation, you must play for an increase. In addition, this increase in terms raises the stakes in the practice of intimidating suspects. They will be offered to conclude a pre-trial agreement, inform on someone, and in exchange they will be promised that the prosecution will refuse a life sentence. Ivan Pavlov, founder of the Human Rights Project, the First Department, on Telegram.
The concept of treason in Russia was blurred, and this article was made another method of combating dissent among the population. The Kremlin drew inspiration from the times of the Soviet Union, namely from Stalin.
After Stalin, there was a watershed. There was an article for anti-Soviet agitation, and on the other hand, there was treason. And there was a huge difference between these two charges. It's one thing what you say against the Soviet government, is another thing treason. Mean the disclosure of some serious secrets causing enormous physical damage to the state. Under Stalin, there was no such difference. Kara-Murza, they couldn't accuse him of anything except that he speaks for words. This is the Stalinist principle when speaking out against Soviet power and treason were one and the same.
The Kremlin has ceased to distinguish between high treason and speeches against its power, and for that and for another in Russia you can now get a life sentence.
From now on, we can assume that any speech against the authorities, against Putin, against an official is treason. Very well on this occasion. The Russian singer said a little indecently, "The motherland is not the president's ass. Now everything is wrong. The motherland is precisely the president's ass." That is what happened. These two concepts are merged.
In the fight against those who disagree with its policies, the Kremlin does not invent new methods. The Insider has published excerpts from secret KGB documents dating back to 1975 that lift the veil on the methods of combating dissent in the Soviet Union. They are relevant for today's Russia.
A number of dangerous nationalist, revisionist and other anti-Soviet groupings have been decomposed at the stage of emergence. The incrimination of the authorities who inspired anti-social manifestations made it possible to prevent undesirable consequences in a number of regions of the country. Measures such as the deprivation of some persons of Soviet citizenship and their expulsion abroad also justified themselves. From secret documents of the KGB in the book Object of Observation, Sakharov against the KGB.
In one of its reports, the American Institute for the Study of War wrote that Putin will continue to intensify the campaign aimed at combating anti-war sentiment in the country. Experts fear that the next step could be lifting the moratorium on the death penalty in Russia. Reported by Serhiy Kulias, Angelika Brushnevska, UATV News.